If I could talk to the younger Eric, I might not tell him much, man. You know, real talk. And the only reason I say that is I think every brick wall I ran into, every dark day I dealt with, I think I needed it to become the person I am today. I think if I took any shortcuts, I might not have the perception of life that I have now. I might not, you know, the importance of making sure others are taken care of. I don't know if it would have been there. And there was plenty of times where I was broke, starving, just, man, is this really meant to be? Is this what's going to happen? And sure, I might want to ease up on them days, but that hurt still goes in the songs today. That struggle still goes in the songs today. So I might just tell them like, hey man, it's gonna be all right. That's what I probably would tell them. But I think I needed them brick walls. As painful as it was when I ran into them, every meeting I took in New York and all them cats and tough A&R saying no, or you know, cats, you know, giving you whack contracts or whatever, or doing shows and not getting paid for them and still got to pay everybody out. All that stuff, man. I needed that. I needed that because it humbled me. It made me realize, like, yo, this ain't guaranteed, man. So you better appreciate every second, every minute that you have to do it. One of the I remember tough, like, really lessons with tough, dark moments was during my songwriting days, me going to meet with an A&R. I think it was A&R with Epic. And it was a tough meeting. Well, I remember there's one A&R, I'm forgetting his name. I think he was with Epic, short, heavyset dude with dreads. I remember one time, what I would do is at this point I was a songwriter. So I remember I would come up to New York with, like, you know, whatever I worked on that week. So I'll have like 10 song ideas I worked on that week. I remember he must have been dealing with a bad day or whatever, man. And like, dude put the joint in the CD. I remember this day like it was yesterday. And every time he played something, he was only playing like 4 seconds of it. I mean, it wasn't even getting to the part where I would even sing. He was like, he was pressing boom, 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 skip. Skip. Boom, boom, skip. Skip. And he ejected, he threw it on the desk, said, what else you got? And I was like, that's all I got, that's what I worked on this week. He's like, all right, man, hit me up when you get some more. And he just turned around, like, picked the phone up and started dialing the phone. I mean, that train ride was tough. That train ride back home was like, but I remember probably 2 months later, swallowing my pride, taking me with do it again, and like dude going crazy over like some song, and it was one of those same songs he skipped over. It's like, yo, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, it got to do with his business. But I can't let my pride or my ego get in the way of me landing songs or like making money. But that train ride I remember that train ride. That was tough. That was one of them, like, I barely got enough money to get home on a train. And like, man, is this supposed to happen? Is this, you know, all this stuff was going through my mind. And eventually I was able to put my ego aside enough to know that, yo, he wasn't judging my music. Whatever happened, you know, whether he was about to lose his job or his wife or girlfriend was tripping, whatever happened, he took it out on my music on that meeting. You know what I mean? And but I gotta push forward. Gotta push forward. I think that's one of the brick walls I remember. The 3 key things that made me successful, one is understanding the importance of the word completion. You know, I think everything needs to be completed, or at least work towards that completion. Having unfinished business, having unfinished songs, having just unfinished conversations is not healthy. It's just not healthy. And I'm one who, if I start on an idea, this idea gets finished. If whether it's a song, whether it's a song agreement, whether it's whatever, like completion, I think is very important. Being fair, you know, like making sure I take care of those around me, I think is one of the things. I try to look out for mine, so I think they've looked out for me. And the third thing is, man, just being lucky, man, being blessed. Like, real talk, my fans have challenged me to take things serious. You know, I can't always say that, oh man, I had this whole thing mapped out. I was a dude who, I got dropped from so many labels, it ain't even funny, you know, but at some point, I started doing music again and people started hearing it and they were digging it. And I just kept feeding those who were wanting more. And, you know, it was really simple as that. So completion, being fair, and being blessed.